You know what? Speaking of things that can't be avoided, I feel
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
that time that we need to discuss. We're going to switch
No,
from Apple TV. We're going to
no.
move it over to Disney because
Oh,
Disney's got some splaining to do. We're talking about the Star Wars show Acolyte.
all of a
We
sudden,
are 3 episodes in and a lot of reviews and opinions in as well. Way more reviews and opinions than there are actual episodes of the show Acolyte. I'm sorry, producers, do we have a trailer of some sort or anything, any clip that we can show of the Acolytes?
I'm parched.
Okay. So this is a guy's the critical drinker. He does really great, funny, hilarious reviews. He has an opinion of episode
Episode 3
3.
of The Acolyte was, without a doubt, one of the most devastatingly embarrassing spectacles I think I've ever witnessed on TV. 40 solid minutes of relentless, unadulterated, unapologetic, unaware cringe, distilled down to its purest and most toxic form. A show made by people who seem to despise not just Star Wars, but the very concept of filmmaking and storytelling in general. It's quite literally anti-entertainment made by anti-geniuses, and I do believe it may have broken what's left of the Star Wars fandom forever.
Okay,
Can you
so
imagine? No, but can you imagine? Hold on.
that's
Can you imagine not knowing anything at all about that show, coming across that review, and then being like, "I'm going to watch this."
so okay. So let's go with your because that's where you're at right now. You haven't watched the show yet, but you've read a whole bunch of reviews and everything. Tell me what your thoughts and opinions are of this show Acolyte.
Okay, well, you already know that I'm
Hmm.
number one. You can't find any clips of this like online. Like every once in a while you could find maybe a 10-minute or one or two scenes.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
this cool scene, go check it out, whatever. That's
exactly.
like the almost like a sizzler to make you go see the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, not available.
Nope.
Um, and you already know that I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars series.
Mhm.
However, I know you were having a conversation recently about how George Lucas sold Lucasfilm sold it to Disney so Disney can do their thing with it.
Hmm.
And that on its own, I think, is a really great business decision because they have hit with the Mandalorian. There's been some IP that's come out of that deal that is well worth watching, and it's been
Mandalorian and Andor are two of the top leading contenders of wow, y'all did this. Y'all took a Star Wars series and made it wonderful for people that don't even know anything about it, you know?
exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I've
The
watched
rest of them grain of salt, but yeah,
right,
yeah,
I've
those are two
all
leaders.
watched Mandalorian. I've watched all of it, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, okay, well, fine. That little alien thing or whatever he's called, he's gonna make it. Okay, I get it.
Oh, his name's Grogu, but okay.
Well, whatever. I mean, Star Wars, yay, him.
Yay!
Right? That's where I'm at. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
not one of those. But
Totally fine.
giving this, so it's really what Apple TV did, or Disney, sorry. What they did is that they basically have this huge property with this fantastic fan base already, and they're now giving it to filmmakers to say, give us what you got. Tell us what you think, what the story should look like. Give us a new world based on this original story.
Hmm.
And that's not a bad idea. That's actually a really great idea.
Yeah,
But then you have people like Kelsey Houston or Leslie Houston. Is her name Leslie or Kelsey?
I think it's Leslie.
It's Leslie. Oh,
I
yeah.
believe so.
And Leslie Headland. My bad. Leslie Headland. No disrespect,
Yep,
girl.
Leslie Headland. Yep.
Who is just automatically contrary. Everything that she's done has been on the verge, on that precipice of I do not give a fuck if you like it. I'm not even sure if I like it. It's going to piss you off, and that's what I'm here for.
Just Google Leslie Headland, and every photo of her looks like I don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
So it's just like,
she just looks contrarian just to be contrarian.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's just like where who made the decision to let her be the showrunner of this? I mean, what she's her premise, the premise of Acolyte is that this is a very woman forward society
Mhm.
within the Star Wars world
Yeah.
that lived isolated from the rest of the planets, and they were very strong in their convictions to remain isolated.
Yeah.
But they have one of the most powerful beings within their society, because they trained them to be that way, to stay away from the men. And then the Jedis, who is historically looked at as the good guys in the Star Wars world, all of a sudden they're the bad guys in this, and then the historical villains, the witches, are now the protagonists.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of Star Wars fans where they're just like, I don't understand why they would allow her flip the characters on their head like that. And I get that. I understand creative freedom. But this particular premise, especially when you're doing it in a woman-centric, woman-forward world, which is a great idea, you can't completely disrespect everything that Star Wars was for the last 50 years. Of the forest caught on fire, Jared. The forest caught on fire. I mean, this shit, it could be good. It literally could be good. But what makes it bad, and what's giving all this bad press the momentum, is the fact that she basically took everything that Star Wars was, said, fuck that, fuck you, fuck this, and this is here.
Mhm.
My convoluted, backwards, reverse, upside down version of it.
Here's the
That-
thing. Here's
I'm not saying that it was bold, it was ballsy. Girls got big testiculars down there, but
Mhm. Swinging pendulums. Yep.
she pissed a bunch of people off, and they had to know that she was going to do that.
She pissed a lot of people off. She is pissing a lot of people off. Past tense, present tense, will piss more people off. Future tense. It's alienating Star Wars fans and alienating people who are not fans of Star Wars, but also don't have a reason to watch this either. Okay, here's the thing. How about this? What if I pitched you a show? It was a Star Wars based show, and it talks about how before Empire came in, before all this, you're talking hundreds of years, if not 1,000 years of peace, and bureaucracy and politics that has been happening in this particular galaxy. The Jedi are not in charge, but they're a bureaucratic tool. Because the Force exists, the Force is accessible to anyone who's sensitive to it. Some people are, a lot of people, most people aren't. Kind of like how in the Harry Potter world, some people can do magic, some people can't. All right, it exists. You can tap into it. You can't tap into it. That's how the Force is kind of like in this galaxy. Some people argue midichlorians and BS. It's very convoluted to say this, but here's to say if the Jedi have become a bureaucratic tool. They have a lot of power, a lot of clout, and now they've gotten to the point because they haven't had any enemies, so enemies are within. They start saying they're the only ones that know how to use the Force properly and for good. Because if any old asshole can have the power to the Force, they can be a threat because that can be a weapon. Kind of like how in X-Men, mutants can be seen as a threat because, hey, you have really strong powers. You can kill people with this. Maybe we should put you under control. That's kind of how the Jedi are seen because, again, they're bureaucratic tools. So they say anybody who's Force sensitive starts clamping down, can clamp down on them, say, hey, you either join us or pack your bags, we have a camp for you. That's how you can see how the Jedi can be viewed as bad people, where you can see, because anybody else can tap into the Force if you happen to have that special ability to it. Other people have different interpretations of the Force. What if there are a women-centric community that seeks to use the Force in their own way to just, to exist and live in their own way, their own culture, their own society? We interpret it this way. We're not actively going out and messing things up, but we can be seen as a threat because there's a lot of us who are all really good at the Force. So that's why we got good at the Force, to be able to be defensive in case the Jedi come and screw that up and start telling us what's what. But like, hey, we just want to be left alone. And this is also before, the Sith still exist, but they're in the far reaches, shadows of that area. What if I told you that there was two sisters from this camp. One wants to leave the world and see the galaxy, and the only way to do that is joining the Jedi. The other one wants to stay with their community, with their who are known as witches, but that could be a dark term of it. But they want to be left alone and exist in their community, in their own society, and become strong and stand alone and stay there. And then that can be the story of this girl leaves and joins the Jedi community. This girl stays with her tribe. If I pitched you that general story with that general backstory and understanding, that's kind of interesting. And that's what piqued me when I was watching, because I've watched 1, 2, and 3 of these episodes, and I get that that's what is trying to be told, because I know enough. I've read enough Star Wars books to get the general idea of what life was like before the Empire and what happened, and the reason why the Empire came in, which is, again, the Empire became the symbolism of fascism, because corrupt bureaucracy, even good guys in charge, get corrupted by bureaucracy, and then that leads to distaste, and then people want something different, and then that's where the Empire came in, and bad guys ruled, and then fascism reigned. That's what this whole thing is about. If I made a premise of that Star Wars story, does that sound interesting?
Listen, I said it. I give her points for the premise.
Yes, it's not a bad premise and an idea, and I'm like, you know what? I'm for the I want to call them witches, but that's kind of what they're called in this world. I'm on the witches side.
I gave her points for the premise. I think that maybe if she had focused on, I don't know, maybe not the Jedi being so bad, maybe not these space witches being so good, which is what I think a lot of the ire from the Star Wars fans is being drawn from. Maybe if he should just focus on the two sisters taking a different path. That's a story that's been told before. We've seen that story before. We've liked that story before.
It's not a new story, but hey, it can be told in a new way.
Exactly. And that's great. I mean, there's other comments that people have said that I'm just like, are you serious? But the premise, like I said, the premise is good. I just don't know where the disconnect came from, because not only are they penning the story itself, and they're penning the cinematography, they're penning the actors, and they're penning the dialogue, they're penning the script. Like, it is just a general overrun of not niceness on the internet about this show. And it sucks, because this is an all-star cast. This cast, it's
this great casting. I mean, hold on, let me throw out some names here.
Jodie Smith, Carrie Ann Moss,
Lee Jung Jae, yes.
Like, you have powerhouses in front of your lens.
You have it. It's as
$80 million was spent. There is no reason why we should be getting the reviews of this, and we're only 3 episodes in.
And that's the thing of me watching these episodes of, I like the idea and the premise, and that's what's forcing me through these episodes. But in hindsight, you're looking at it and you're like, you're taking so long to get to a point that I've already gotten 2 minutes into this scene. Why are we taking forever to get to this? Why are you not explaining what the hell a thread means when it's talking about the Force, instead of just saying, hey, the Force exists, people interpret it this way, Jedi, people interpret it this way, Sith, we interpret it this way. I won't say space witches, but the witches, which is kind of what they're called, but we interpret it in a different way. There's ways you could have told this story better, and also the dialogue is clunky, and good actors are given wooden lines to work with, and it's like okay, hey, here's a knife made out of wood, now cut this up and make dinner. Like, it's like you're not giving me the tools necessary to be able to emote or tell a story, or giving you reason behind this. It's like you're dragging this on forever of like, okay, I get it, they were twins, they're separated, I got that in episode 1, why are you dragging this out in episode 3 where I'm not learning that much more than I already knew before going into it? And also, these powerful witches, everything catches on fire in their concrete temple for some reason, and then all of a sudden everyone's dead. because a fire started from a notebook, and then all of a sudden the entire concrete temple's on fire, and then all of the women are dead. And you're like, how? Like, even smoke inhalation takes longer than it took for all this to happen, you know? Like, my God, like, get to the point already. And then it's also a Kill Bill style revenge story of, like, I want revenge on the 4 Jedi that came and, like, messed up my camp. I get that, but it's also, I don't, like, you already killed off 2 of these Jedis, and I didn't even know who they were, nor did I care about them. And then now you're post-backdating. Oh, by the way, I cared about these. Here's the reason why you should have cared about these characters that died 2 episodes ago. The storytelling is not happening the way it could have happened, is my thing. I am all on board for the strong female character coming from a strong female society, being interrupted and bullied by bureaucracy and bullshit. I get that. I'm all for that. It's just not being told well. And they have literally every advantage they can to make that happen, and it's not happening. And I can see where the frustration is coming from. I also don't like how on the internet, negativity is delicious. It is a feast, and everybody hops on that thing. Okay, if there's a show showing or anything cool showing any weakness, it gets hopped on like a sick gazelle, baby. Like, that's exactly what happens, and everyone dogpiles on it. And it's, again, as you can tell, I didn't mean to do this, but I became a Star Wars fan this year, and I get it, and I get the premise, and I understand where it's coming from, but you're right, it is just not being told well. You could tell such a really cool, rich backstory of pre-Empire galaxy with they're not even rebels because they exist before that. So anyway, normal bureaucracy and the Jedi being tools, and that's why they look like the bad guys, because they kind of are the bad guys. Kind of like how it's, if you look at, look at America, where, like, hey, good guys sometimes, bad guys and other times, and you're like, wait, I thought they were the good guy. Why are they doing bad things? Like, well, because this happened. And they don't give any backstory and reasoning behind that. And if they are, I'm sorry, TikTok taking forever to get to that, to tell why are the Jedi viewed as the bad guys, especially in this community where it's like, these witches are having a wonderful community and a wonderful, like, celebration of, like, yay, these girls are becoming part of us. They're evolving. It was like a witch bar mitzvah. I'm sorry, bat mitzvah. It'd be a witch bat mitzvah. But then the Jedi come in and ruin it. And they don't give reasons why. Where it's like, okay, why are they... it's like, okay, you have to look in the backstory and, like, really dig to find out, like, okay, well, the Jedi think they're the supreme understanding of how to master the Force. And it's kind of like, what if Hogwarts went around and gave you a choice of you either join our school or you go to a camp because we can't trust you. Like, once you started looking at that lens, you're like, oh, damn, okay, they got power. They have authority. That's why they look like the bad guys. And they look like the good guys when they're rebels. They're the bad guys when they're in charge. And that's a whole dynamic that I would love to see enriched upon. And that's what this show could be, but it's not doing it. And it's frustrating as shit.
It hasn't done it in the first 3 episodes. And I really think that diehard Star Wars fans have all right to be upset. Especially if you're telling me, because remember, you watched it. I haven't. I want to watch it just to see if what these reviews are saying have any sort of basis in, like, reality, to see if it's really that bad or if I could find some redeeming quality in it. But that's just me and who I am. Yeah. But from what you're saying is the storytelling is clunky. It's off to a slow-moving start, a really slow-moving start. Like, really,
just taking your time. The frustrating thing is when the audience knows where it's going to go, and we still have to wait 10, 20 minutes for it to get there.
Right, but the thing is, where Leslie Headland made a really big mistake is that certain shows that don't have this type of fan base, don't have this type of history, can take up to 3 to 4 episodes to really get into it. And
Russian Doll. She did Russian Doll, and Russian Doll was amazing. I love Russian Doll so much.
I hated Russian Doll. I will never ever. So sorry. If Russian, let's not talk about Russian Doll, because I'm really trying to give Leslie the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay.
But, like, I will say The Gentleman, for example, limited series is out on Netflix. Again, first couple of episodes, really slow start, in my opinion. But by halfway through the third, fourth episode, you got into it. You wanted to see you cared about the characters, and you wanted to see what was going to happen to them. But the gentleman had space to do that. And I'm not saying because the gentleman is a male director, what's his name?
Guy Ritchie?
Yes. Okay. So I'm not saying
I knew that off the top of my head. Yeah.
I'll give you that. But the gentleman doesn't have Star Wars lore. It doesn't have Star Wars fans. It doesn't have Star Wars name. It doesn't have a
rich like history and lore books literally written about it that you could just check these out at your library and read them and understand,
Exactly. This gentleman had room and space that have a slow start to find its room, finding its way into settling down.
Yeah.
The Acolyte does not. It does not. It has to grab people's attention and be fast moving off the freaking top. She does not have that space. Maybe 1, maybe 2 episodes before you can settle into it. But at that point, people need to start caring about the characters. And what's happening here is that maybe people will start caring about the characters on the back end of this season.
In post. Yeah.
Off the top, it's not looking good. Like she's going to have she's going to have to find a brand new, or Disney's going to have to find a brand new audience for this once the episodes start getting good, if they start getting good, and people actually start saying more positive things about it. Because right now, it's lost a good chunk. People are either going to hate watch or watch hoping that it gets good.
And that's the thing. Because you don't have to do world building. Like, if you need to do world building, that's how that can work out to your advantage, because you can pace it at your own pace as you divulge this nugget of this world or this little bit of this world. As you slowly expand upon it, you can take your time or do that because it's your own world. And in this one, we already know everything. It's got to be the characters and the events that need to grab us, because we already know the basis of a lot of things. But however, like the average person, when it comes to Star Wars, may not know what the pre-Empire world looked like at all, and that's fair. This is how you can tell people, or this is how you can tell that story, but it's not happening. But on the same inverse of it, I'm also all for saying, hey, we know this is established and everything. We're gonna do something a little bit different, y'all. Or we're gonna do maybe like a parallel world. How about this? How about about a little multiverse in the Star Wars universe, where it's like we still have some of these Bing Bang factors. However, it's a little different in my world. Stay tuned, and that could be its own thing too. Hey, good on you, Leslie, if you're doing it that way. But you're also not doing it that way either. Like, what are you doing then? Like, what is your plan? Like, why are you also, you have you have goddamn Carrie Ann Moss, and then no spoilers or anything, but something happens to her in episode 1.
Stop.
And then you're just like, what?
Stop.
Okay.
Have mercy on my poor.
I'm just saying, you're not using the talent that you have, and you could use it so much better. And I mean, Lee Jung-jae is literally carrying this show on his shoulders. No offense to Amanda Stenberg, who is the lead protagonist in this, but Lee Jung-jae is carrying every time he's not in the scene. It's like, okay, y'all, can you do this? Can you do this? And you're like, okay, it's not happening. And then Lee Jung-jae comes in, and you're like, oh my god, thank God, an adult's in the room, and is able to. It's like, I'm here to carry the story along. Don't worry about it. I'll get you there. It's
wow.
And again, I'm gonna watch episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna watch it because I like the premise, and I'm still have hopes that it's gonna arc. But look, I'm not saying you need to pull. I'm not gonna say it's nosediving, because it never took off. It's clipping the trees, and eventually you're gonna have to pull up. Otherwise, you're not gonna get there. I'm sorry.
Engine on fire.
Look, you're losing a wing. Okay, all right. Engine's on fire. You lost a wing. One of the pilots having a heart attack. Like, come on. Like, you could open the door and jump and have a better chance of living than staying on this damn thing. Like, come on, Leslie. Like, you can make it happen. It could work better. Just please. Like, that's the problem everyone is having, is if you're a Star Wars fan, you're angry. If you're not a Star Wars fan, there's no reason for you to watch this either. It's right. Like, who's this for?
Right. No, and the way that
And if you want to shake shit up in George Lucas's world, shake shit up. I'm game for that. We don't have to be stuck in the parameters of these books. Which, by the way, this is not even like a shelf on my brother-in-law's library. By the way, like there's 3 more shelves of books he's got that I'm gonna borrow and start reading as I'm watching Acolyte, just to remind myself of why I care about this world. But it's like, come on, man. It's like, sure, shake shit up, kick shit around, but.
And that it would have worked. I mean, she literally just did that, and I have respect for even going there, selling somebody on this, like pitching this to a big studio like Disney and saying, and finding someone at Disney to say, yes, okay, fine, we'll let you do it. Here's almost $200 million to do so.
Here's $22.5 million per episode.
Here's almost $200 million.
Again, Godzilla -1, $50 million, won the Academy Award. Won an Oscar for Best Special Effects. I'm just going to put that out there again.
Thank you.
Already existing world.
Here's the thing, but the fact that you broke it down to saying that these Jedi Masters in this time of the Star Wars world, it's this particular time in that history, were basically fascists. They were the Republicans of today. They were the Nazis of World War II. They were really bad.
They were bad, but their actions, they had good intentions, but done badly, and it hurt people.
They were authoritarian people.
Exactly, yes.
That people of today would not like and would not appreciate if they told them how to live our lives, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If that could be...
You're doing it wrong. Do it our way.
Right. If you can give me things like that to like grab onto, and the nuggets like that to grab onto, and then I can look at the women, the characters in this story, and be like, we need these women. I care about these women. I want to see these women win. Give me...
Yes.
Push me along. And the thing is, because the show is not doing that, things that are potentially good, the cinematography, the production design, the art direction, the score, things like that are maybe not that bad, are also being spoken about negatively because the rest of it looks so bad. You know what I mean? Like it's not giving those aspects of the show a fair shot. And there has to be something good about that.
And look, there's a Jedi Wookiee. And you only got a taste of that Jedi Wookiee in episode 3. I'm like, don't tease me about this Jedi Wookiee without telling me everything I want to know about this Jedi Wookiee. Okay?
First off, what's a freaking Wookiee?
A Wookiee? Chewbacca.
Oh, okay.
Chewbacca's a Wookiee.
Can you just say Chewbacca then?
Because Chewbacca's a person. Wookiee are the species.
Okay, whatever.
I wore my glasses today so I could shove them up. I wanted, because I knew we were talking about Star Wars.
Remember, you're talking to someone that I am a Trekkie. If you said Borg, if you said android, if you said Klingon, if you said Ferengi, I would understand completely what you meant.
Excuse me, I don't speak the language of Star Trek. That's my wife's language, and I have not been introduced to that world yet, but I will.
You notice they never did something like this to Star Trek. I'm just saying that.
Star Trek's got its own thing with its own TV series, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other, right?
One of them is good.
Yeah? Oh, damn, okay.
Even the Captain Kirk era. Star Trek The Next Generation.
Look, nobody's here. No, there's not a podcast here really nitpicking the board, like this.
Voyager.
Yeah, look, Star Trek has never had the budget Star Wars has had, and look, no one's faulting Star Trek on anything. Look, it's because it's inexcusable that Star Wars cannot afford better writers. God damn it.
Listen,
okay, look at all the money you have, and y'all can't afford better writers, or maybe a third or fourth writer. Can we get some more writers in here to just be like, okay, because otherwise it sounds like there's 1 or 2 writers that won't let anybody in the room and say, this is the script, this is God. Like, this is our Bible, don't change it, like.
Picard, Discovery. I'm just saying, we can look at any one of Voyager, we can look at any one of those series and be like, I'm happy.
Yes.
I am satisfied. I feel for y'all Star Wars fans out there. I do. Like it's pulling on my heartstrings that you guys are suffering through this right now. I wish.
And again, I am a newfound Star Wars fan. I never thought I was going to be until I accidentally read one of the books, and I'm like, God dang, this is actually this is a really deep lore. I like it. Which, by the way, I recommend just grab a Star Wars book from your local library and read it. You don't even have to pay for it. Read it, borrow it from the library. It's great, and you'll be amazed at like, oh my God, I understand this whole damn universe now. I get it. There's a lot of really cool, rich lore into that, you know? Like, and I'm not, and if you want to just take all that lore and say, like, I'm gonna do it different, cool, do it different, put it on its head, but do it better. It's all I'm asking. Is like, let me care about more than one character, okay?
For me, I would say, because I'm from that world, give me some consistency.
Yes.
I want to be able to pick up any Star Wars offshoot and be like, oh, okay, I get it. This is why it's so successful. Like,
and a lot of times, yes, you can. When it comes to the books, yes, a lot of them are just like, hey, we agree about this, whatever. But let's focus on the characters. Like each one of these books are character driven because you know what the universe looks like, and they'll maybe give you some more tidbits on like the history and everything. But it's like it's character driven, and you feel one way for this character, you feel another way for this character, whatever, and that's what makes it work. And that's why Andor worked, and that's why Mandalorian worked, because you knew already the foundation of this world. But it's character driven, and you care about these characters existing in this world. How's this world affecting this character? And that's what made them work, and it is great and wonderful. And you want to feel this with Acolyte, but it's not happening. And it's like, what happened?
I'm holding out hope for you guys. I'm going to watch at some point. I'm holding out hope for episodes 6, 7,
four through eight. Yeah.
No, I'm not even saying 4, because maybe the second half of 4. I don't know, but episodes 4 and 5 in this series are usually a little bit of a lull. But with this 8
bridge,
with this 8 episode season thing, it might change, because maybe 4 through 8.
Look, because again, 1 through 3 has just been a grind a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've given me tidbits enough to want to see where this is going, but you're all taking your sweet ass time with these nuggets.
It's on life support, and I'm hoping that y'all wake up from the coma that you're in.
Yeah. Yep. And on that lovely note, I think we should wrap this up. And I want to say, because we're recording this on Father's Day, Merry Father's Day to every daddy out there who's, or soon to be daddy, or will be daddy out there who's watching this. I want y'all to get out there and watch something. Watch a show, watch a movie, escape from this world, and watch a cool story.
Pick up a kid or two and just
pick up a kid that you know. And then watch a show, watch a movie, enjoy yourself. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. We may be bitching and complaining about one particular one, but there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Go and enjoy yourself.
The kid might like it.
Right? Kid might like it. You know what? It's either it's an allegory for real life, or it's just a fun getaway from the harsh life. Watch a TV show, watch a movie, enjoy yourself. Have a good one.
You too, Jared.
Goodbye out there, Chris. Oh, that's right. Sorry, critters. That's what you call it now. We decided critters.
We're not calling them bugs. I'm sorry. No, we're not.
Which also, I think Critical Role fans are called critters too. We might have some objection to that. I'm not going to dance with the Critical Role crowd. Which, by the way, love you guys.
Should we call them something tough, like crit boxers?
Crit boxers. Crit boxers. We can say crit boxers. All right, crit boxers. You get out there. Thank you for liking, subscribing, writing to us in the comments. If you haven't, whether you like us or hate us, give us a shout, let us know. Tell your friends to subscribe to us, to hate us, or love us. It's either way. But thank you for being out there and responding to us. We're hearing you, we're listening to you, we're responding to you. Thank you for joining us. Keep on doing it, as we're going to keep on voicing our opinion that hopefully is rational and highly biased. We'll see y'all next time, all right? Have a week. Bye.